All right, get the statement from coach and then take questions, so keep your hands up, please.
We got one game left in the regular season. It's obviously a big one. It doesn't have the regular season SEC championship riding on the line like we would have hoped it would have been back after we lost to them here. But I think there's still a lot riding on the line. You know, you've got SEC tournament seeding, NCAA tournament seeding, and most of all, we just got to get our confidence back that we can play with the best teams in the country like we've shown we could. And we knew this stretch was going to be tough, but you know, we didn't expect to take as many losses as we had. So you know, we just tried to encourage our guys to focus on the stuff they can control, and let's worry about that. The final score take care of itself at the end. I thought we had a pretty good practice day. I thought our guys were pretty resilient. Thought their energy was good. So you know, and Auburn's good. They play great at home. I think 82-6 under Coach Pearl against teams ranked in the top 25 since he's been there, which I don't know if you're gonna find too many records better than that. So he's done a great job having his guys ready to go against good teams. This will be their last home game of the year, and this will be one of the best teams, probably the best team he's had there as far as regular season goes. Obviously, he had the Final Four team, but you know, they've been ranked, I think, 6 straight weeks, #1 in the poll. We're the second program in SEC history to do that behind Kentucky, so he's in pretty rare company. So they've had an unbelievable year. They get one home game left, and happens to be against our arch rival also. You know, we know they're going to be ready to go, even if there's not a SEC championship riding on the line. They've got pride, we've got pride. It'll still be a hard-fought game. You know, and then we saw how good they were when they came here. You know, they outplayed us here. We've got to make some improvements. I thought we did a decent job taking care of the ball here, but we didn't do a great job guarding them. And you know, there's other areas where we got to get a little bit better at. So you know, we'll go down there. I think our guys will be ready to go, and it'll be a good game in my opinion. It usually is between us and them. And after that, you know, whether we win or lose, we'll be ready to go following week for the SEC tournament to see what kind of draw we get after Saturday.
Start with Charlie.
Yeah, Coach, just how much of a physical toll do you feel like this 7-game stretch against ranked teams is having your guys? From like a fatigue standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody in the country's played the stretch of 7 games that we did during the regular season. I mean, I think you could look at all the analytics and stuff. So I think we got the toughest 7-game stretch in the country. It's obviously going to take a toll on you physically. Guys are a little bit banged up, you know, mentally, emotionally. That's why we've tried to just get our guys going again. You know, we played the best teams in the country, and we've taken some L's. But last year, you know, we lost 3 in a row in December against 3 pretty good teams. We lost 4 of our last 6. And still made a Final Four run. So I think, you know, we've got some guys that can bounce back, be ready to go, and we're looking for guys to be ready to go and bounce back tomorrow.
Blake.
Yeah, in this game with the double bye already locked up and Auburn having already clinched the outright title, is this a game where you can almost kind of play like you have nothing to lose, like that kind of mentality going in?
Yeah, I definitely think so, because there's really nothing other than either a 3 or a 4 seed, you know, whatever the NCAA tournament committee wants to decide on. Our resume, you know, obviously a win here would help against the #1 team in the country, but I still think we've got a pretty good resume looking at where our seed will be for the NCAA tournament. So there's not a whole lot riding on this game other than some pride, which Alabama-Auburn rivalry, there's obviously going to be some pride in this game. So, you know, sure, both teams maybe in different circumstances would think about resting their guys, but you know, unless somebody's really banged up bad, like our guys are planning on playing this game, so Darian would be the only one that'd be out, because he's still just getting back into some basketball workouts, and hopefully we'll start live practices and see where that takes us, because we can certainly use them for the SC tournament.
Jack.
Yeah, do you think the 3-guard lineup you guys deploy now will be a little bit more effective in terms of getting Mark open with Denver Jones guarding him, and just what makes him kind of an effective perimeter defender for some of these guys?
Yeah, I mean, Denver's tough, physical, athletic, and most of all, he's competitive. takes pride in his defense. So I hope that, 3-yard lineup will help a little bit with some more creation out there to free him up, but we're gonna have to set some real screens for Mark. Mark's gonna have to set some great screens himself to get himself freed up with a little bit of that, and then we're gonna have to get out and transition a little bit more. I mean, first time we played them, up until like the last 2 minutes, I think we only scored 6 points in transition, so that they were elite in stopping us in transition. Mark's able to get himself freed up a little bit more when we're out running in transition. We didn't have that opportunity the first game much, so combination of more creation, 3-yard lineup, better screening both for Mark and from Mark, and then getting a little bit more in transition would help all that a lot.
Yeah, two numbers related to Cliff that I want to ask you about. One's offensive rating. He's got the 10th best offensive rating in the country, that 136.6, and then also his block percentage is down, I guess, a good bit, because he was 3rd last year in the country, and he's 189th now. Down, I think, 12.7 to 5. I guess, could you kind of give your thoughts on those two numbers and just maybe explain that?
Yeah, the offensive rating, I think, is a byproduct of how we use him and how effective he is at the rim. I mean, he's not taking bad shots. He shoots at the rim shots, and he dunks them, and he makes most of them. He makes his free throws. And he doesn't turn the ball over much because we're not asking him to do a lot of creation. So, I'm sure that's significantly improved because they actually threw a lot more of them in the post, so a lot more of his shots were contested last year. And he's pretty skilled. I mean, he's good footwork. He's skilled in the pocket. He's knows how to play off the tosses, the dribble handoffs. So he's gotten really good with that. So that's kind of where his offensive rating is. Block rate, I saw the same thing you did. I think it's a little bit of byproduct of a few things. One is the Big Ten's a little bit more smash mouth, so he was in the paint all the time. The SEC's opened up a lot more. He's having to guard, you look at guard Kentucky, well, their 5's always on the perimeter, so he's not able to just camp out in the lane and protect the rim and block everybody's shots there, because other teams' 5's are all over the place. So, the SEC being more spread out, more modern basketball, if you will, like looks a lot more like the NBA with the pace and spread out, and he's having to guard all around, which that was part of the point of him coming here, was to try to get himself a little bit more NBA ready. So, NBA offenses are more spread out, and there's fewer blocks and more open at the rims, more open threes. So I think that's part of it. Part of it also may be the pace we play at. He may be, they a lot more walking up the floor his previous years in college. So I think he was maybe a tad more fresh to go make some of those explosive athletic blocks, and maybe after running as much, I don't know, that's my conjecture. I've thought about it a little bit. I don't know if there's other things we could do to help him with it, but I think when he's fresh and he's super explosive and able to go make those blocks, I just don't think he's put in the same position to make as many this year as he's been in the past.
Cody.
Pretty sure when you were hired was Auburn's Final Four year. I was kind of curious that you're a student of the game. Were you aware of kind of what they were building when you got hired, and then kind of what it's been like the last 5-6 years as you two have kind of pushed and chased each other?
Yeah, so I got hired after we got beat in the second round at Buffalo. I think we lost on a Sunday, I believe, to Texas Tech. And when I landed on Monday, I had a voicemail from Greg Byrne. Go through all that again, but I got hired that week after the first weekend. So Auburn was going to the Sweet 16. They won 2 more games. They went to the Final Four. I was already down here in Alabama, so obviously I was aware of the rivalry. After I got hired, your rival makes their first Final Four ever in school history. Well, it's a little bit of pressure. New guy here at Alabama, you're going to get us to the Final Four. They just made one. We need to get there. So they were at the top of the SEC. I think this is my 6th year. Coach Pearl's 11th, I believe. So I think he made his first Final Four in year 5. Is that correct? Which we made ours in my 5th year too, which a little ironic, I guess, so. Both, I do think he took over a little bit worse program, so the building job he did in 5 years was pretty impressive. So how big college basketball junkie was fully aware of the job he did, but shoot, he was at UW Milwaukee, I was back in Wisconsin, and then I knew who he was at Southern Indiana. Did a great job at Milwaukee, did an unbelievable job at Tennessee, gets the Auburn job, builds it up, I get hired here, he makes the Final Four. So we got a lot of catch up to do, since we've arrived here, so in the 6 years since, somebody gave me a stat, I think they got one more win than us, and that's the most wins in the SEC, overall wins, they're 141, we're at 140, they're one, we're second. Talk about just SEC wins, we got 74, they got 72, so with just SEC games, they're first, we're second. I mean, I think in the last 4 years, kind of after their Final Four run, and didn't have a SEC tournament my first year because of COVID. So in the last 4, there's been 8 trophies given out. I think between the two of us, we got 6. Shoot, you can count this year's regular season. So now there's been 9. In between the two of us, we got 7 of the 9, and Tennessee's got the other 2. So, yeah, I think some of the best basketball in the SEC has been played in the state of Alabama. Coach Pearl's rebuilding job's been unbelievable, and we've done a fairly solid job here ourselves. And here we go. I was kind of hoping this would be a battle for the regular season championship this year. It didn't turn out that way. Things don't always go the way you want them to, but I thought when we had the 1 versus 2 game here earlier with College Game Day here, it showed the level that we've got in both these programs too, and notoriety across the country that game. I think this game will be followed closely here at the end of the regular season as well.
Chase.
The other night, Florida had 12 layups and 8 dunks. When you looked at the video, the interior defense, what issues did you identify with that?
I mean, I don't think it was an interior defense issue as much as it was a transition defense issue in our pick and roll defense. So if you're including our pick and roll defense in the interior defense, that would make sense. But they just ran past us. They played harder than us. They played faster than us. It looked like they wanted to win a little bit more than us, which is a little disappointing with a group. Again, a lot of excuses our guys can make. At the end of the day, they're just excuses. Like we gotta bring it. Doesn't matter who you lost to the game before, what your schedule looks like, who's banged up. None of that stuff matters. What matters is what you do on the floor, and we didn't play hard enough. So we didn't get back. They got too many dunks and layups in transition. In the pick and roll, our guards didn't get into the ball well enough. There was no pressure on their guards. They're turning the corner, coming downhill. Our bigs are stuck in 2-on-1s, trying to figure out the guard to guard. They could step up. They throw a lob. So it's a combination. I definitely don't want to put it all on our bigs. It wasn't close. I thought our bigs could have been a little bit more explosive, athletic. I mean, we had a couple lobs that they blocked. They had some lobs we didn't get close to blocking. So, combination of our guards not doing a great job early in the pick and roll. There was a couple times we should have been going under. We chased over, and when you're not into the ball and trying to chase over late, now you're putting your bigs in impossible spots. So we got to be better in a lot of areas. Florida was great. If we are fortunate enough to see them in the SEC tournament, hopefully we'll be a lot better.
2 more, Katie.
Obviously, he's already faced his former team, but with Aiden going back to Auburn for the first time, have there been any conversations with him about handling emotions or maybe any extra attention he might get from their crowd?
You know what? Not really yet. Probably sit down with them, make sure. I mean, I'm sure that their fans are very energetic, very emotional. I don't know what words you like to use to describe them. I think you guys know how their fans are, so I'm sure that they'll, be rooting for Aiden to have a bad game, and he's got to be mentally tough and he's going there and play basketball. To me, it shouldn't be any. Gotta prove this, that, he just needs to play basketball. He needs to play tough, hard, physical, make the right plays, play smart. If he's gets open shots, take them, but I don't think he's gonna force anything. He's been really good for us this year. It's obviously gonna be a big game for everybody in our program, but him going back there, I'm sure their fans will be ready to see him, and, you know, I think he's a pretty mentally tough kid. He'll be ready for the game.
Last one, Hunter.
What are some of the main things that went wrong in the first Auburn game that are like kind of top priorities to correct for tomorrow?
Yeah, we didn't get out in transition enough. We didn't get enough quality shots. So on our offensive side, we got to try to run a little better. You know, I think defensively, we didn't do a great job running them off the line. Now we decided to play off a couple guys. I think Brooms made 2 threes in his last 5 games, 6 games, and he made 2 against us. You know, so Johnson made a couple threes, so, you know, do we make earlier adjustments on some of that stuff? Not, so, you know, we some of it's the game plan the coach put together, and it didn't work as well as what we'd hoped. Some of it's, our guys gotta give a little bit better effort, so we gotta get their shooters and even the guys that are capable of making shots, even if you want to label them as shooters, like Pettiford, Baker, Mazzara, Kelly, Jones, you know, all those guys, even if they're not, we can't let the other guys capable of making shots just have free reign to shoot open shots either. So, you know, guarding the 3-point line, our defensive rebounding would help in transition. You know, the more we can get defensive rebounds and get out in transition, and then we've got to be able to get our shooters open. You know, they're building out, run us off the line. So can we set better screens? Can we get them free a little bit better in transition? So those are some of the main areas, and then they're good. I mean, you could play a really good basketball game and still lose to them. Like they've beaten a lot of good teams and played pretty good against them. So, you know, we're gonna have to do all little things well too. We're gonna make free throws. We didn't turn over much first game. We're gonna have to take care of the ball again. Like, we can't let some stuff that we did well the first game all of a sudden go to the wayside, emphasizing some other stuff too.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone.